Hi everyone, Glenn here at Welcome IT. At Welcome IT, we pride ourselves on educating our clients. So we firmly believe that the more you know, the less likely you are to have problems. Because of that, a large part of our ethos is about making sure that our clients and business partners and friends are well informed. And with that in mind, we wanted to bring you all a video to get you thinking about what you're doing for your data protection strategy. So without any more mucking around, we'd like to jump into 10 things you should be doing to protect your business data right now. We're going to break it into sections to make it a bit easier to go through. So the first section I want to talk about is protection against malicious attacks. So the first thing you're going to want to do is have a corporate grade antivirus solution. It's really important to have a good antivirus solution, something that's regularly monitored and updated. And it's not enough just to buy it and install it once and forget about it. You probably should have someone who's responsible for monitoring the attacks that are coming through, for making sure that everyone's up to date and on the same version, and that all of your machines and your corporate network are covered. So you need some management around it as well. You might find you're getting a lot of a certain type of attack, and it'd be interesting to, or important to know why and what kind of attacks you're getting on a more regular basis than others, so that you can adjust your behavior. And the second thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a corporate grade firewall. They're getting cheaper and cheaper every day. You can get reasonable firewalls for sort of $300 to $1,000 depending on the side of your organisation, and they do provide a very strong level of protection for people trying to remote into your site externally and gain access to your corporate information. So a good, properly managed, well set up firewall is very important. Same sort of things you'd look at with the antivirus. You want to make sure it's managed properly and set up properly in the first place and kept up to date. Otherwise, you're not making the most of your investment. And the final thing you want to do is make sure you have adequate user training. Make sure your users are aware of the kind of things that are happening out there. Like hackers are getting more and more sophisticated every day. You hear a lot about phishing attacks now. These emails look very legitimate, just asking for credentials or passwords or some sort of information that allows them to chip away to get the next piece of information they want. So having your users have good internet using habits both in the office and also outside the office is very important. Recent studies have shown that most users, regardless of where they log in, use a combination of the same password. And I think it's up to 80% of users use either exactly the same password or a combination of the same password on multiple sites. So that makes it a much easier target for hackers to get your credentials and then gain access to your corporate network and your corporate data. Right, so I've just finished off with data protection against malicious attacks. So the three things we covered was corporate grade antivirus, corporate grade firewall, and user education. So they're the top three that we want to look at on any site we take over. Obviously there's others, but they're the main three, and they're going to give you a reasonable level of protection fairly quickly and fairly cost effectively. So the next thing we'd like to talk to you about, or next section, we're going to call redundancy. So redundancy is often confused with backup. It's quite different, and we'll launch right into to point 4, which is hardware redundancy. So let's imagine you had a server still on site, you're running some legacy application, or you had a network attached storage device. We want to make sure that inside that device, at a minimum, it had multiple hard drives operating in a RAID. What RAID stands for is redundant array of inexpensive disks, and it means that if one of those hard drives fails, all your data is not lost. You're not just going digging for your backup straight away. If it was a server environment, we'd also expect that you would have redundant power supplies. These are things that are quite susceptible to damage, easily fail, and if you have these redundancies built into the machine, then you've got some level of protection, so you're not cut off from your data. Point 5 would be sharing where your data is kept. So at Welcome IT, we're big fans of Office 365 and cloud services. So if you had a server, perhaps it's got an application that you don't want to move to the cloud, or you're very happy with the way it's working on your server, it's fine, leave it there. But we can give you a level of redundancy by moving some of your corporate information off site. So we have all your internal corporate information kept on your server, and then your emails, which is a large portion of your intellectual property, we could push into a system like Office 365. Then if an event happened, like your server crashed, or you had an environmental issue, you couldn't get into your office, or someone disabled the internet in your building by accident or maliciously, we could still allow you access to your emails from anywhere on any device, kind of. Along those same lines of that environmental, if we're able to move your servers either to a virtual environment, so you're still running your own systems, it's still your own bespoke system, we push it into a cloud solution. So now you're sort of, I guess, office agnostic, if you will. And if you did have a major issue with your office, we should be able to give you some or all access to all of your data at any time at very short notice to get you back working, back into your corporate information and back dealing with your clients. Okay, so we've covered off protection against malicious attacks, we've covered off redundancy, and now we're going to talk about backup. So if you have a server or a NAS device on premises that you use for backing up company data or a cloud system, you need some form of backup. Now, if we're talking about your on-premises solution, the backup that's most commonly used now is another NAS device or a hard drive backup. The reason we do that is it's very fast. We can take a snapshot of your whole server, a snapshot of your whole NAS drive, and have a good quality local backup there in case of a catastrophic failure. So, if your whole server blew up and we needed to replace it or repair it from scratch, and we've got a nice, quick, easy access backup. And it's very important. You have to have that. Now, if you're using a cloud system, then we could look at backups like something in the cloud, like Backupify, which will allow us to take a copy of your data offsite. Whilst a lot of cloud systems have a good 120 to 180 days of retention policy, if you're financial services practice, for example, you need to keep a lot of that data for up to 5 to 7 years. If you're a legal practice, you might want to keep that correspondence between your clients for much longer than that. Not that we're expecting to have any trouble, but you need to have that backup for your own peace of mind. So that's number 7, is local backup. Number 8 is off-site backup. So if your systems are already in the cloud, then your off-site backup is kind of your local backup. But if you have a server on site or a NAS on site and you're backing that up, we would recommend having that automatically pushed to a cloud service. So if you've got your local drive on site, then we would back that up to either a data center or a third-party service that we manage for you, to make sure that you don't have that human element where someone could mix the drives up, or we had one situation recently where the drive was being left on the parcel shelf of the technician's car, and when they came time to restore, the drive was faulty. Which brings us nice and neatly to point 9, which is test your backups. Make sure that you've got satisfactory level of backup. Does it go back far enough? Is your retention policy long enough? And is your backup tested? There's no point going to use your backup one day in the event of a disaster and finding out that you don't have any backups, or that the backups you've got are not what you expected, or they're also corrupted. So that's a really important one. That's point number 9. And last but not least, point number 10, to make sure that your data is protected, is conduct an audit. The audit be conducted with your current incumbent. If you've got an IT person or a provider, you can run through some of this checklist with them and ask them, right, what are we doing for retention? Are we keeping enough data? Where are my backups? Can we do a test restore? Check them on that. Or you can go to a third party. We offer free audits. More than happy to run a free audit with any of you. If you want to jump on our website or our Facebook, I'll leave some contact details after and register. We'd come out and have a chat with you and run a free audit. So that's point number 10. Is do regular audits on your backup and your data. Make sure you've got what you need, because by the time you have a disaster, if you haven't checked it and it's not there, it's far too late. So I hope this has been informative. I know it's a long one. Thank you for watching. And as always, if you have any questions, hit us up on Facebook, send us an email, give us a call. I'll put all the contact details at the end of this video. And from Glenn at Welkin IT, thank you very much for watching.